Ever wondered why certain fears feel automatic? Or why some decisions scare you for no logical reason? What if your deepest fears and desires were laid out in a kind of visual blueprint, your own private picture of the mind? Imagine this. You wake up in the middle of the night, heart racing. You were just standing in a long, narrow hallway. On the left, closed doors, all identical. On the right, big windows, but it is completely dark outside. At the very end of the hallway, there is a single red chair under a flickering light. You cannot explain why, but that red chair makes you feel watched, exposed, like if you walk toward it, something terrible will happen. You switch on your bedside lamp, shake your head, and think, it is just a weird dream. But that image follows you through the day. The hallway, the doors, the dark windows, the red chair. What if that dream is not random at all? What if it is part of your personal psychology picture? The way your mind paints what you are really afraid of. Every day, your brain quietly records thousands of tiny moments. Times you felt safe, times you felt judged, times you felt completely alone. Your conscious mind forgets most of them, but your unconscious does not. It builds an inner gallery, a mental landscape made of symbols, scenes, colors, and patterns. This is your psychology picture. Not a real photo, but the way your mind visualizes what you fear, what you long for, what you avoid, and where you feel safe. If you have ever had a dream that felt too real, or an image that keeps coming back, that is often your psychology picture trying to speak to you. Let's turn that hallway dream into a real person's story. Meets Aiden. Aiden is 32, good at his job, and stuck. Whenever there is a big decision to make, changing jobs, ending a relationship, moving cities, his chest tightens, his throat closes, and he hears the same inner sentence. Better not risk it. You will mess it up. One night, Aiden has the hallway dream. Closed doors on one side, dark windows on the other, a red chair at the end. He wakes up, unsettled. At breakfast, he keeps seeing that red chair in his mind. On the train, he thinks about the closed doors. By lunchtime, he feels strangely annoyed and restless, for no obvious reason. Aiden is not into psychology, but he is tired of feeling stuck. So he writes the dream down exactly like a picture. Long hallway, closed doors, dark windows, red chair under flickering light. Then he asks himself one question. If this were a scene from a movie about my life, what would it mean? Now he starts decoding the hallway. It is a place between things, not the room you started in, not the room you're going to. It is transition, waiting, being in between. The closed doors. Doors can be choices, opportunities, paths. Closed doors can feel like chances you are too afraid to open. The dark windows. Windows are how you see the outside world. Darkness outside can mean fear of the unknown, or a belief that the world beyond your current life is unsafe. The red chair. Red is intense, danger, passion, attention. A single chair under a light feels like a spotlight, being judged, being exposed. Suddenly, the picture is not random. It is a map of how Aiden feels about change and being seen. He's stuck in a transition. He sees options, but does not open them. The outside world looks threatening, and the idea of finally sitting in his true place in life feels terrifying, like being judged. That is what a psychology picture does. It turns invisible feelings into visible scenes. Aiden starts remembering things, not huge dramatic events, tiny moments. 9 years old, raising his hand in class, getting the answer wrong, everyone laughing, parents saying, do not be too confident. People will think you are arrogant. First job, where his ideas were ignored in meetings, so he stopped speaking up. Each moment added a brushstroke to his inner picture. The message his mind learned was, if you step forward, if you are seen, something bad will happen. That belief is not just a sentence in his head. It is the hallway. It is the dark windows. It is the red chair. Aiden's deepest fear is not failure. His deepest fear is exposure. Being visible, being judged, being truly known. So when his boss asks, do you want to lead this new project? His conscious mind thinks, this could be good. But his psychology picture shouts, hallway, dark windows, red chair, danger. He says, maybe next time, and calls it being realistic. You have your own version of this. Maybe it is not a hallway. Maybe for you it is an endless ocean. A crowded room where no one looks at you. A small childhood bedroom. A stage with bright lights and no audience. Whatever it is, pay attention to it. Places that appear again and again in your dreams. Random images that pop into your mind when you are stressed. Scenes you daydream about when you feel stuck. They are not just weird thoughts. They are your mind's way of drawing what you feel but cannot easily say. So how do you decode your own psychology picture? Next time you wake from a strong dream or notice a powerful inner image, write it down immediately. The place, the colors, the objects, the weather, exactly how you felt in that scene. Then give each element a job. Ask, if this object had a role in my life, what would it be? Maybe the hallway's transitions. Doors are choices. Windows are how you see the world. Ask, Where in my life do I feel this exact feeling? At work, in relationships, with family, with myself? Instead of asking, what is wrong with me? Ask, what is this picture trying to protect me from? Often, the picture is not your enemy. It is your mind trying to keep you safe, using old information. And then, gently, you update the picture. You do not have to force yourself into the red chair. You can start by imagining turning on a brighter light, opening one door, just a little, seeing a friend appear at the end of the hallway. Those small inner edits can slowly retrain your nervous system to see possibility where it used to see threat. Aiden decides to try this. Every night before sleeping, he closes his eyes and returns to the hallway. First, he imagines turning on all the lights, so the space feels warmer. Then, he imagines opening one door a tiny bit. He does not walk through it yet. He just lets light spill out. After a week, something changes. He has a new dream. Same hallway, but now one door is already open. Inside, he sees a room with a window showing a sunrise. The red chair is still there at the end, but the light above it is no longer flickering. Nothing in his outside life has changed yet. Inside, his psychology picture is updating. A few days later, his boss mentions a new project again. Aiden still feels the familiar tightness in his chest, but he also remembers the open door. That is all. One sentence. One tiny real-world step that matches the new picture in his mind. Here is the hidden truth. Your mind is not trying to sabotage you. It is trying to protect you, using old maps. Your psychology picture is that old map. It was drawn when you were younger, more fragile, less free, but now, you have more power than you did back then. When you start decoding your inner images, you realize the hallway is not a prison. It is just a place you have been standing in for a long time. The doors are not locked. They are just scary to touch. The dark windows are not the end of the world. They are simply an unknown you have not explored yet. And the red chair is not always a punishment. It might be your true seat, your real life, waiting. So tonight, pay attention to your dreams, to the pictures that flash in your mind when you are about to make a decision, to the places your imagination keeps returning to. Write one of them down, just one scene. Then ask, if this picture could talk, what would it say about what I fear? What is it trying to keep me safe from? What tiny change could I imagine that would make this picture just 1% kinder? You do not need to fix yourself overnight. You only need to become curious. Because once you start seeing your inner world as a picture, you can read and slowly repaint your deepest fears. Stop being shadows that chase you. They become signals that guide you. Your psychology picture is already there, quietly shaping what feels safe, what feels risky, and what you believe you deserve. When you learn to decode it, you are no longer just reacting to life. You are gently rewriting the canvas of your inner world. And if this story helped you see your own mind a little more clearly, maybe that is your first open door.